We're on day 5 so far. Every day it's been 2-mile walk, hour nap. It's been the biggest part of recovery that's consistent. I got the bandage off for the first time. Get to take a look at that wicked cut. Yeah, it's fun. It's weird. It felt like I had it up and down, not across, so I was surprised when it came off. And then most of my neck here to here, it feels kind of like how you feel when you're under Novocaine, and that effect is coming off. It's been 5 days. I had people tell me sometimes that goes away, sometimes it's years later and it's just a little bit better. So that sucks if I don't get to feel my neck there normal ever again, but it's kind of how this is, kind of how it goes. We're trying to look at little things that we progress with every day. So, how fast I was able to walk without feeling pain, how quickly I was able to get out of bed or out of a seat, times that I'm kind of sitting down or plopping down a little bit quicker, not guarding my neck quite as much. What it feels like going up steps, what it feels like, carrying a gallon of milk, what it feels like even opening and closing doors, little things. So you're trying to keep track of as many little things as you can every day, because you are making progress in little ways. And if you're not looking for those little details, it's going to drive you nuts. Oh man, I'm not in the gym lifting weights yet, or I'm not able to jog or run yet, or the scar's not closed and I can't shave, so I'm starting to look like Wolfman a little bit here. This is what I look like when I don't shave for 4 days, 5 days. Yeah, I'm gonna look like a homeless terrorist by next week, but sacrifice. We're probably gonna sign up at the local YMCA pretty soon, do some real basic stuff there. So good checking in. We have the day 5 flash forward. We looked at the scar compared to when I first took the bandage off. I didn't have any advice on how to care for it, how to wash around it. That's something you're going to have to talk to somebody else about and look into. When I did take it off, I was really, really careful. It felt like it was going to rip the scab open and bleed like crazy. So if you're in a situation like that, taking a bandage off, be very thorough with what you're supposed to do at that point. The neck numbness right here feels like it's just about normal. So if we were to break it down into 3 layers, like it's real bad, it's kind of bad, it's almost normal, kind of like a bullseye would look around the incision. The first few days, I couldn't feel anything. It was all bad. It was all like, it's the red part, the bullseye. And then where it's at now, probably just this little spot right here is what feels like it's a bullseye, a little bit above. And ironically, nothing around here really bothers me. It's not the actual incision around here. It's everything up around the neck. And it's that, like you had Novocaine, it's coming back. It's kind of numb, tingly, not quite where it's supposed to be. We're going to look at my posture is the only thing. When I have my head forward, that's the only thing that really bothers me with my neck. I could move around. I could play with my kids pretty fine. I picked up my son, my 10-year-old son. He's a big boy. I could do that. I could just about roughhouse with my daughter however I want. I'm doing some light overhead work, 30-pound dumbbells each hand. For me, that's light. I was doing about 110 before the injury. So, again, if you have something like that, scale it. I'm saying I'm doing about a third of what I was doing 5 days and 6 weeks from the post-op. Be patient with everything. I wish I would have focused more on napping and sleeping early on. I have this thing where if I was sick, if I was recovering, if I was injured, yeah, you're supposed to sleep well. You're supposed to nap. You're supposed to give your body that rest it needs. We talked about rest in the previous video. I would have been much more in tune with that for pretty much the whole first 6 weeks. After about a week, I was like, I don't know if I need to nap anymore. Maybe every other day or whatever. And it just, your body needs to sleep so much to recover from something like that, how traumatic it is. So if you're back into fitness for the first time, when you exercise, when you lift weights, you tear your muscles apart, they need to recover. So the food is the building block, and the sleep is the blueprint for we're recovering and building. If you have a worker, how long is that worker on the job? Essentially, is what sleep equates to when you're building something. Man, it's tough trying to be patient. I enjoy my workouts better. It feels like I'm actually making progress. They feel like real legitimate workouts again. I could carry weight. I could do most of the stuff I need and want to do. I still get a little bit of vertigo, that dizziness for when my neck and head isn't in the right posture. I go up and down the stairs. I get up out of bed easily. I don't feel like I'm guarding it unless it's something more extreme. So like I wouldn't jump. I wouldn't sprint up the stairs as fast as I can. I wouldn't, I do this thing with my daughter when it gets better. Hopefully by the final day of this, I could show you guys where I pretend to use her to make like a cookie recipe. So I'll pick her up and pretend like it's cracking an egg, and then I'll fold her over, and then I'll pretend like she's the egg beater, and then stir her around and make the noise and tickle her, and then pour her in like milk, and then I'll put her under the table on the ottoman, and then pull it out like a cookie sheet, and then chase her around like she's a gingerbread man. So it's stuff like that matters more than, well, when am I going to bench 400 again? When am I going to compete again? When am I this? When am I that? We're still trying to find little things that make progress. So for my biggest issue, don't sit too much. Make sure the neck is in proper posture. Make sure I'm still getting enough sleep. The sleep has been tough this week. Something is going on with the electrical for my smoke alarms. So I have 2 that are battery operated and 3 that are hooked up to the electrical line. And every time it's hooked up, something happens and it'll go off in the middle of the night. So it'll make a single real loud beep, not the low battery beep. We just put this on, like I said, it's hooked up, and it just woke up at 2 a.m., couldn't fall asleep again until 5. I've had it happen twice this week. So I wound up just ripping it out of the ceiling, turning it off. I had to wind up napping the first time the next day, and it just threw the sleep schedule off. So we're trying to get back into that groove with sleep. And it's okay. I stayed up till 1 a.m. and I slept in till 9:30. So the next day, let's try to be in bed by 12:30 instead of 1. And that's part of the problem when people try to sleep. Oh, well, I need to get back to sleeping at 9 a.m. Or I'm sorry, 9 a.m. Get back to going to sleep at 9 p.m. Well, not from staying up till 1 a.m. You're not. That's going to take probably a week to get your sleep schedule back towards that, maybe even 2 weeks. So just like everything else, break it down incrementally. You have control over this. You have things that you could do. You limit your screen time. You like and subscribe to everything that I'm posting because it helps you. No, I'm kidding. I'm just teasing about that. But seriously, like and subscribe. I notice when I eat certain foods before bed, staying hydrated, lowering your core temperature before bed, something leisurely and unwinding mentally and emotionally before bed. Try to focus on the things that you could control and set little marginal manageable goals for a good medium-sized goal. If I get to bed 10 minutes earlier every day for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to get to bed almost 2.5 hours earlier. So that's the goal. In 2 weeks, I should be consistently sleeping at 10:30 p.m. Hope all this stuff helps. Hang in there. If you have questions, as always, like, comment, whatever. If you are an athlete, you've been through this, by all means, reach out to me. We could discuss it more in depth. Good luck.